I think I'm going to stay here a little while longer, and then I'm going to take myself off home for some breakfast. Well, happy Midsummer's Day everyone, and I'm going to film my day like I did last year. It's looking like it's going to be nice. So after all the cold and all the rain that we've been having here, yesterday was actually really lovely, and I was out in my garden till about 9:30 last night. I'm just having my cup of tea, and then I'm going to go off down the beach, do a little bit of beach combing, and then come back to do some baking and a bit of a garden update because the roses are out. So I'll see you at the beach. And here I am at Sea and Beach. The tide's on its way out. It's definitely clearer here than it was at home, but I'm at the coast, so that's to be expected. Well, I do love the sound of the sea, and so I'm going to let you hear the crunch as I'm walking along. I've already found something, and it's just a stone, but it's just got a different shape, and I'm going to be taking it home. I'm going to turn you around so you can have a look. You don't normally see the beach stones in a shape like that. I think that looks like either a dolphin or a bird, and I'm taking that home. And I might paint it to make it look like something. That's going in my bag. I love it when the rocks are coming out. I used to spend many happy hours as a child climbing around the rock pools and looking for crabs and little fish and sea anemones and all sorts of things like that. Oh, nearly got my toes there. I'm bound to have a paddle eventually. I've even been known to paddle on a New Year's Eve in the cold weather. And you see all that black? That's coal dust. Because we're on the northeast coast where all the mining happened. And so there's still coal dust around. Anyway, I'm going to start looking among the pebbles. See if I can find anything else. It'd be nice to find some glass stones, but you don't see them like we used to when we were children. There used to be so much here. We just used to walk along picking it up. But nowadays, people dig holes and look for it and all sorts. There's just less around, I think. Oh, that's a... what's that? It's quite a cool stone. Not sure that it is anything in particular, but I like it. I'll take it home until I can think of whether it's something or nothing. No, another. I like all interesting things. Oh, it's a holy stone. I can see the hole all the way through. I'll show you. Can you see? There it is. There's the hole all the way through. I'll tell you, I've got an eye for a holy stone. Oh, I've just found a little group of glass stones. There's some white ones. There's two little green ones. There's a tiny little yellow. There's more. It's a little proper little green. White. Another green. And another green. In my bag. There's a nice yellow one too. Oh, I've spied a ruby. Don't know whether I can zoom you in on it. Let's see if I'm in the right place. Here. Look, tiny little ruby. That's a lovely one. The beach is virtually deserted. It's like, there's just me here. And a dog walker's just passed me. The light's beautiful, because I'm here early. And the tide's still on the way out. Look at the sky. Just found another little ruby. It's only tiny. But Wendy and I always called them rubies and emeralds, whatever colour we were finding. Only little. You used to be able to find big ones, but I don't think you do anymore. Well, of course I have to be paddling. I'll go out a little bit more. The water's cold, but not too bad. I love the way the water makes the ripples. You can dig your toes into the sandy gravel like that, and it's rough but it's nice. And look at the sea lettuce waving in the shallow. It's a beautiful shape. It's lovely to see the ripples coming in. And the pattern of the light. that's beautiful. I think I'm going to go and look at the strand line, see if I can find any driftwood. It actually doesn't look as if there's much at the moment. If I look up there near the promenade, it doesn't look like there's much there, but I'll go over and see. I'm up on the strand line now. Actually, there's not much here. I'll get out of my own shadow. There's some dried up seaweed, which is a lovely colour. Look at the lovely colour of that one. Like a lovely orangey rust colour. But other than that, there's not any driftwood. But I like to crunch on the pebbles, and I like to look for stuff. So I'm just going to carry on walking. And you can hear the crunch. I'm always looking for holy stones or something interesting. I'll wave at you. Oh, I've come across a bit of driftwood and stuff. A great big beam here. And it's not very much, but I'm going to just have a little look. I'm quite interested in all that rope and stuff, if there's anything I can get. Seeing something rounded. And it's not... Oh, I actually think it's part of a tennis ball. But it's really been smoothed by the sea. I think I'm going to have that. I think I can make that into something. I can put all my little stones in to show you just now. They're so smooth. It feels like velvet. Anyway, I'm going to look through this driftwood. Oh, I like all the rope and everything. It's a shame that it's here washed up, but it is quite a nice tangle. If I had a great big garden, I'd be trying to haul it off and put it somewhere. Going to see if there's any likely candidates to take home. That's quite nice. I have that one. Oh, that's quite nice. It's only a flat piece of wood. It's got that lovely hole where a knot has been. I like that. I think I've got an idea for these. I'm going to have them in my bag. It's got a beautiful pattern on it. And an eye by the looks of it. Look at the pattern there. It's beautiful. It's like a snake. That's coming home. I think I'm going to head back along and go and find somewhere for a cup of tea. You have to draw something in the sand, and it just had to be a flower. So I'm about to leave the beach. The tide's just on the turn. A few more waves than there were. Not that many more people though. Well, I'm back home now, and the first thing I need to do is get the sand out of my shoes because there's lots and I don't want it to be there, so I'll clap them out while I'm here, and then I'll show you all the little stones that I got. So I'll put them on some white paper so you can see them. So I got some nice different bits of rocks. I like to pick up all sorts of things, and so they were just interesting to me. And my favourite really is this little funny bit. It's not the sort of shape that you usually find down the beach, because you usually just find smooth round oval ones, and it's got a proper bird shape or a dolphin shape, so I might be doing something with that. And then all of these are the little glass pebbles that I picked up, and I know that they're mainly green and white, But among them there are different colours of green. There's some very dark ones, like that, and there's some light ones, and there's some really pale ones, like that. And so there's a huge variation, and even in the white ones there are greeny white ones and clear ones. I'll sort them out. So then when you take it off the back of your tin, you've got the form of it there, and all you have to do is slip it inside. And then you can just crease it round, and there you've got a tin that's so easily lined, and it's easier to form it on the outside than try and push it onto the inside. And I mean, if you've got a nice modern tin it's non-stick and all of that, but I don't. I've got all ancient tins. And I'm just going to grease it with a bit of the leftover butter. You could brush it with a bit of oil, or you could spray it with some non-stick spray, but I don't have any of that. So that's my tin line. Hello. Change of clothes. Dropping the video because I accidentally lost the bit of the video that was supposed to be explaining the recipe. And I thought, what can I do? Should I go and mock up the fact that I haven't done it yet and insert it and pretend it never happened? I thought, no, I can't do that. I'll just come in different clothes with a random pineapple in the background and explain the recipe. And then you can go back to the bit that I do have. So the recipe is almond fingers. That's what I'm making. What you need for it is self-raising flour, 8 ounces of it. You need 8 ounces of caster sugar, 2. You need 8 ounces of semolina. You need 8 ounces of softened butter. Quite soft, because you're going to mix it up. And you need some almond extract or almond essence. And you need some jam. I have homemade plum jam here, but any jam will do. Traditionally it should be apricot, but I don't have access to apricots for making jam with, so I just use whatever jam I'm currently using. What you do is you put all of those, and 2 eggs. 2 eggs. And what you do is you put all of those, except for the jam, into a big bowl and you mix them together. Also, the bit of film that's missed is what I was doing to line my very old tin. My very old tin needs lining, and instead of pushing foil on the inside, which quite often makes it tear, you turn your tin round like that, and you put your foil on the outside of the tin, which allows you to smooth it down tight round all the corners, and all the creases get in really, really nicely. And then you pick your tin up and turn it over, and your little liner just fits in. And from there, you're going to see the rest of the video. So thank you for watching, and I hope you do make almond fingers. Bye. Need a clean tea towel in my pinny. Hope you're noticing my nice pinny. This is a nice vintage one. It's a lovely tartan. The only thing is, it's got its pocket on the right hand side, so it's not really any good for a hefty. But never mind, I do like it, and it goes with my Kawandi dress. So I need a wooden spoon, and I am just going to mix all this up together until it comes to a dough, and it'll be a dough that's pressable but not pourable. It's a thick dough. This is such a nice recipe. Oh, I don't know whether I told you what it's called. It's called almond fingers, because you cut them into fingers and they've got almond in it, so they're pretending to be almond. They do taste scrumptious. Well, it's taken me about 5 minutes, and you definitely can just do it in a processor or do it with a mixer. I quite enjoy just doing it the old-fashioned way. It doesn't bother me because I enjoy the cooking. So you can see that it's sort of a dough, but it wouldn't really be roll-outable though. I'll alter the camera and I'll put my thing up on here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put half of the mixture in here. And I'm going to get a fork. And I'm just going to start and push it out. And it goes quite thin, and that's okay. A bit more. Usually I'd put more on the bottom than I do on the top. So I'm pressing it out into the shape of the tin. And I find the fork the easiest thing to spread it with. If you try and do it with a knife, it sort of gets picked up on the knife and then it comes off the tin rather than staying in the tin. If you use a fork, it sort of presses down into the tin. And this is so lovely, this recipe. I told Wendy I was making it. I said I'm going to make almond fingers on Midsummer's Day, and she just went, oh, almond fingers? So I'll have to save some. Right, I don't want any breaks because I don't want the jam to come out. So the next thing is the jam. And I'm always quite generous. So let's put 1, 2, I'll just stir it round a bit to get it a bit more. Let's try 3 and see if that does it. And you can put the jam almost to the edge, but not quite all the way. You don't want it bubbling out if you can help it. There's another tablespoon going on. So, and they were heaped up, so you can see how much of a layer I'm putting in. You definitely want them all the way over. Right. Once you've got a decent layer, then it's time to put the other bit on top. Now this is the bit where you have to be a bit canny, because it won't spread out on top of the jam. And so the easiest way to do it is to get it into lumps and put the lumps, sort of sprinkle it up like that. It doesn't stick to your fingers. So I'll sort of sprinkle it on. Like that. Actually, I think I usually put more on the bottom. And then I sort of start and use the fork to spread it out. And as I go, I fill in any gaps. You want absolutely the jam sealed in. So although I've put most of the mixture on, I've still got some here, and I'll use that, this bit here. I'll use that to be filling in the holes. I sort of use my finger as well, which is naughty I suppose, but it's only me and Luke eating it. Oh, and Wendy. So, spread, spread, spread. It's amazing how it does take a lot to seal the top. The fork is your friend for this. Right, it's covered, I've used all my mixture. Now that goes into the oven, and it is Mark 4 on the gas, which is 180 Celsius. And I've got a fan oven, and I've put my oven at 165. In it goes. That's going to be in there now for about 35 minutes, 35 minutes. Depends on your oven, Have a look after half an hour, give it an extra 5 minutes if it needs it. It wants to be golden. And while that's in the oven, I'm going to go and film you some of the garden, I think, before I do my phonology reel. Anyway, we'll see them come out. I'm off to the garden. We're back at the front garden, and I thought Midsummer's Day was nice to give you a midsummer update. So as you can see, the yellow roses have sort of gone over their first flowering. Now if I prune them, they'll come back into flower again, but I just haven't got around to it yet. But what's glorious at the moment here is this absolutely beautiful Philadelphus. It's only got a tiny flower, but it's heady with scent. And I don't know the name of it because when I bought it, it was like a little stick with no name badge on it. And so although I could see it was a Philadelphus by the leaves, it didn't have the variety, so I still don't know what it is, but I wish you had smell-o-vision because it's absolutely glorious. And the honeysuckle here is just about going over, as is the clematis. But what else is out here, which wasn't before, is the escallonia, and that's escallonia apple blossom, and also that climbing rose, which is called Joseph's Coat, and it starts out quite an orangey yellow, and then it fades to yellow, and then it fades to that raspberry pink. So it goes through all of those changes of colour, and it's always beautiful. You can see that the great big geranium is full out, and the dianthus on the dining chair's out. My clematis is beautifully out now. The lavender are just starting underneath the dining room window. And the lovely Tottering By Gently has already had one great big flush of flower and is sort of in between, but can you see how many beautiful buds there are on there? And can you see there's another little dragon there? Well, back in my courtyard, I've actually moved the wisteria to outside the kitchen door, so I'm hoping that next year that might actually reach up onto those beams there and hopefully let some wisteria flowers hang down. Here are the first buds on the agapanthus, geraniums, antirrhinums. This lovely rose is absolutely fabulous, and it is fabulous, but that's its name, absolutely fabulous. More orchids. So the geranium, I think that's Gravity or Graviti. More orchids full out. And can you see the cherries are starting to get ripe? Just turning red. That actually means that I should be netting it, or else the blackbird will have them all. The bunting's up, and I'll link the tutorial for that because it's literally a 5 minutes craft. It just takes 3 or 4 paper napkins and a bit of string. This is for your eyes only. That's already, I've cut it back so much. It just keeps flowering and flowering the whole summer. This one's Blush Noisette, and it's beautiful. We'll walk out into the garden. The ferns have taken over the path, which is just the way I like it. And then this is another Philadelphus. This is such a beautiful scent. This is Belle Etoile, and it's just come out this last week. It's a little bit late, I think, because of the cold weather. Now some of the roses. Molinier. So the geraniums, I do have lots of them. I used to collect them because I was obsessed with them. The hydrangea's got its flowers ready. That's Wind's Red. Sweet Williams, Foxglove. And another rose in a pot that's supposed to be planted, but it's still in its pot. You can see the beautiful Philadelphus. It's covered in flowers. So as we come down to this path, the big stems that never got pruned, they're now weighted down with flower. And I don't know, can you just see how much flower's on there? And it's so beautiful. That's Blau or Blue Veil, and it's glorious already. There's another big arching stem there, and then another rose which I think I've forgotten the name of. It's a hybrid perpetual. Another little beautiful geranium, and honeysuckle. So I can go through under here. Still have to dip down. I like that though. And the Graham Thomas honeysuckle. This, I think the only reason the apple tree it didn't go was because I have the honeysuckle through it. The scent of this is absolutely stupendous on an evening. There's still campion out. And another geranium, which I can't remember that one. And there's also nettles here that I haven't done yet. But I'm not bothered. I think this geranium's called Splish Splash. I think. Because it's sort of splashed petals. You can see my roses. I'm going to go around that side to get the roses. So I've got a little alliums here, and they've been dashed by the rain, but they're still managing. And my pink Annabelle has now got good flower buds on. It's going to look glorious. There's loads of flowers on that. This rose is this is the poet's wife. I planted this for Michael after he passed away. This glorious rose is one that I'm going to paint this afternoon. This is Shropshire Lad. It's the most flowers I've ever had on it. Look, it needs a dead head in there. Just snap it off. They've got the most glorious scent, and like a quartered middle. Sort of that salmony, pinky, yellowy, can't quite say what the colour is. Shell pink when it's out. Look at that bud, it's glorious. This is Olivia Rose Austin. It's already had quite a few flowers pruned off. And the rambler on the fence is Lady of the Lake. Now it just didn't get pruned in time. It shouldn't be up there like that. It should be along the fence and more full down here. So that's something I'll have to address later on. This one I got especially for me because it's called Maid Marion. And it's got a lovely scent as well. I think you're probably getting the idea that I like roses. Lictrum. It's going to seed now. I usually just leave them go to seed because I like them. I don't mind where they come up. Plus the seed heads look nice. And go through. This is the rain bending all these down. This is Lady of Shalott. A beautiful red astrantia. I've got harebells, or as we used to call them when we were little, Scottish bluebells. That's what we used to always say. Scottish bluebells. I love them. More geranium. Look how tall my foxgloves are. Must be 10 foot. There's foxgloves up here. There's apples on the little tree. And the beautiful grass is just starting to put its fronds on. And huge geranium xylostemon. Gorgeous. Foxgloves, Weigela, the licitron. It's just glorious. That lovely cream froth is goat's beard. I think this might be my favourite corner. And what else do you want? Roses, flowers, shady place to sit. Well, the almond fingers are out of the oven. I've put them on a cooling rack because you can't take them out of the baking tray yet. They'll be just too soft and too fragile. So I'll put them on a baking rack just so they can cool. But what you have to do while they're hot is cut them into their pieces. Now, I already did this thinking I was recording it, but I wasn't because I'd forgotten to press record. So just pretend that I'm doing this for the first time. You cut them into fingers like this. So I've actually got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18 and 2 tiny tiddly bits that I call them Cook's Perks. Those 2, because I like them to be the same size. So one's down the middle and as many as you like, but about 1 inch wide is a good way, and they firm up once they're cold. You definitely can't take them out of the tin. They will just disintegrate entirely. So just you have to hold your horses and wait till they're cold before you can taste one. And because it's sunny and I've got the door open, I'm actually going to put one of my things over the top. And I'm going to go into the courtyard again because I think it's about time I did my phonology wheel. So that's what I'm going to do now. Well, I've sat down to do my phonology wheel for today. I think this is the first time I've actually been able to sit and paint it outside because it's warm enough. I've decided on thrift. I've got a flower here. And I've already just pencil drawn it in and put its title. And I've looked up on the app that I use. My day is 17 hours and 18 minutes long, which is just 6 seconds longer than yesterday, and then it should be shorter again tomorrow. And the temperature, unbelievably, is 22 degrees, which is a big jump from 18 yesterday. And that is the first time this month that the temperature has got into the 20s. And so sometimes I'm better at others than doing it, but I'm going to be doing some watercolour practice this afternoon. I've been learning and practicing more about my watercolours. I'm not overly wonderful. I know that I make mistakes, but the only way to get better is to carry on doing it and not giving up. And so I try my very best. So I'm just going to put some of these really bright petals in. And I'm going to use a green, which I'll use off here. And I'll just mix it. Sometimes you have to be a bit more dark than the real flower because it's painting and it doesn't always show up. Actually, that's not too bad. Oh, now while I've got that green on, I'm going to do the stem. Now the stem has a has a really pale bit at the top here. It has a dash of red. I'm not even going to wash my brush. And then I'm going to go back in with the dark pink. And I've also got this here that I made up yesterday because I did Vikenblau, that lovely purple rose, for yesterday's entry. And so I was mixing up the lovely dark purples. Sort of come to life when I put the outline around them at the end. I didn't really intend them to be sort of outlined. It just sort of happened when I was doing the twigs, and then I felt as if I couldn't not do it for everything. And then I just get my pen and I just outline the whole thing. And I always do it afterwards. That's the solstice flower in. Thrift. So that can go away now. And I'm going to get my rose that I'm going to do now. It's already wilted. So I'm going to be doing it from the photograph that I took of it yesterday when I was drawing it. I've got my drawing. I've got my photograph. It's half wilted since I picked it yesterday. But never mind, or between them I'm going to try my best. So I've got clean water. I think the first thing will be to put some of the lighter colours on. So I'm actually just going to wet this first petal right to the edge. Just get it very wet. Use some yellow ochre. And I'm just going to drop it in here. And I'll put it on everywhere that I think it needs to be. Just going to let that fade out to nothing. And I'm going to put this everywhere that I think I need to put it. Pale colour here, hardly any pigment in it at all. And I'll just gradually start working from light to dark. At the minute I'm not worried about the fact that I can see my pencil lines. I actually need them. I'm not confident enough to do without them. I'll run that in there. Run it at the top and let the paint just bleed out over the petal. There's definitely shadow here. Well, I've definitely started it. I'll do a bit more getting the background in. I think that's as far as I can get for now. I've got the base pale colours on, started to darken it up, put the green on, but I don't know whether I'll get it finished today. That's as far as I can go for now, because I'm going in to make my tea. It looks a bit messy to me at the moment, but it's all practice. And I'll leave that there for the moment. The sun's gone down, the clouds are out. I thought I'd just have another little go of getting some darker colours on this rose, because I really was quite enjoy doing it. So it's all dry now, so I can go back over with some colourful wash to try and get some of the pink coming through. without destroying the shading that I've already got. That's what I'm going to try and do anyway. So some of these petals are really, like the ones where the light's shining, they are white looking to me. So I'm going to try and keep the shading I've got and just put some fine wash over, because it all needs to just be a bit darker. It's all a bit too wishy-washy at the minute. Get some of this lovely pink on without losing the highlights. Make sure that the darks are dark. And then by virtue of putting darks in, the lights hopefully will look lighter. Let's try and bring the colour out. The thing about watercolours is, them being transparent, I can go right over the top of some of these. I think actually I'm getting too cold to sit out here. I'm going to go and make my cup of tea. I'm going to have my almond finger, and I'll tell you how good it is. Right, well, it's giving it a start, that's for sure. Just do down the stem. Just starts getting the deepening all the colours up. I'll have to leave it there for today. It still needs some work, I think, but I think I'm quite pleased with the way the colour's coming. Well, I was determined to finish off outside, but it's all of a sudden really cold, you know. So I hope you've enjoyed that look at what I was up to today, and it has been a really beautiful day, and I really enjoyed sitting doing my painting. That's the first time I've been doing it outside because it just hasn't been warm enough. And of course what I have to do now is eat the almond fingers. Well, not the whole plateful, but I just want you to see how lovely they come out. So they're really soft when they come out of the oven, but then they firm up and you can see that lovely layer of jam. And the texture is crunchy on the outside of the top, but then soft in the middle, and then you've got the lovely jam layer. So I'll put the recipe and I hope you will try it, because they are super scrummy and it's a proper old-fashioned recipe. So I'm going to have this now, and I'm going to sit out here just long enough to drink my cup of tea, and then I'm going in the house and I'm probably going to do some knitting. I can't believe this is the second Midsummer's Day that I've done, and yeah, thanks very much, and I'll see you next time when you visit Marion's world. It won't be a day like this though. It'll be something more normal for what I normally have going on, but I'm just going to say cheers with my cup of tea and my almond finger, and I'll see you next time. Really lovely. If you've tried my other recipes, you've got to try this one because it's scrummy. Bye everyone. Thanks for watching. So it's not quite down, but there are clouds on the horizon. I think that's the best I'm going to get, really. So bye from Marion's World. Midsummer's Day 2024.